In the year 2000, in a morgue, the senior pathologist complains about the cleanliness of the room. He tells his junior to dump the chemicals in the sink, since the bottles are covered in dust. Junior looks at him in shock, since the chemical is toxic, and that would be a clear violation of the law. Also, the toxic chemicals will end up in Han River. However, the senior threatens him to do what he is told and nothing will happen by mixing a few bottles to the river. With no way out, Junior starts dumping the chemicals while he is wearing protective suit for his safety. The camera pans to show us that Junior has emptied hundreds of bottles in the sink. 2 years later, the locals who fish in the Han River pick up a weird creature but let it go thinking it might be a mutation. Moving on further, 4 years later in 2006, a salaryman plans to commit suicide by jumping into the Han River. His colleagues come to stop him, but he tells them that he notices something big moving in the river. They tell the man to stop joking and come out, but the salaryman blames them for not trusting him and proceeds to leap in. Park Gang-do works in his father's convenience store, but he's not very good at his job, falling asleep all the time. His father, Hee-bong, is unsatisfied with his son and wake him up to take care of the costumers. Although Gang-do is lazy and quite useless, he loves his daughter, Yun-seo, even though she treats him like everyone else. They watch TV together and cheer for Gang-do's sister, Nam-ju, who's competing in the national archery competition. The show interrupted by a news flash showing the body of the salaryman from before, but his body is in a gruesome condition, indicating something bit him before he died. Hee-bong walks in and tells Gang-do to go out to see the customers. Gang-do takes the orders to the people, but notices everyone looking at something by the river. Gang-do joins them and sees a strange creature under the bridge and wonders what it can be. Soon, the creature begins moving and eventually drops into the water. The people walk even closer to the river, and Gang-do throws a can of beer at the creature, which it quickly takes underwater. The others start throwing as well, but the creature disappears underwater. Just when they turn to leave, Gang-do sees the giant creature charging towards the people and knocking them into the river. People start running in fear while the monster continues to trample over them and attacking them as it charges. Gang-do tells everyone to escape, but trips and falls, narrowly escaping the creature. While a group of people take refuge inside a mobile container, the monster follows them inside having a feast, since the other door of the container gets stuck. An onlooker pulls Gang-do to help the people inside, and an American soldier comes forward to join him to open the door. Just then, the creature rushes out of the container and happens to feast on a man. The soldier charges to attack the creature, and Gang-do joins him as well, but the soldier gets attacked in the process. Gang-do tries one last time by attacking the tail of the creature, making it charge towards him. Right then, Yun-seo walks out of their store to notice the people running from the place, and Gang-do, who is chased by the creature, catches her hand as he continues running. Unfortunately, he trips due to the chaos and starts running again after taking her hand. Shockingly, Gang-do turns to realize that it is not Yun-seo he is holding on to, and searches for her. By this time, the creature is charging towards her and grabs her using its tail and jumps into the river. Hee-bong comes outside only then to notice this, and he also finds Gang-do going after the creature, jumping into the river. Soon, the army arrives to block off the area and evacuates the people to the community center where they mourn for their family who were lost to the creature. Gang-do's sister Nam-ju arrives with her medal and breaks down before Yun-seo's picture, followed by her brother Nam-il, who blames Gang-do for her death. As the family tries to sort out their issues, the news reporters surround them and begin to take pictures for coverage. Soon, volunteers come forward to calm them down, and following them, a government worker in a biohazard suit comes to greet the people and asks those who made physical contact with the creature to come forward. But the people are agitated and ask for an explanation about the creature. But the worker tells them to watch the news to learn about it, and he once again asks for those came in contact with the creature. Gang-do comes forward to mention that he did not touch it, but its blood came into contact with him while he attacked it. Hearing this, more workers in the suits rush into the building and take away Gang-do forcefully by packing him up in a bag. The officials explain that the American soldier who fought with Gang-do was able to survive the creature's attack, but soon became sick after being infected with a virus that the creature carries. The government is pulling back their military forces and sending in specialized teams trained to handle virus outbreaks. At the same time, Gang-do and his family are at the hospital, where the doctors mention that they need to take lots of tests and ask them not to eat anything until then. But Gang-do sneaks around at night stealing food and at the time gets a phone call. He takes it and is shocked to hear that it is Yun-seo on the other side. Gang-do tries to ask for her location, but the signal cuts out suddenly as the rest of the family wakes up as well. The creature continues to attack the humans and brings them back to its nest inside the sewers, where the creature is storing them as food food for later. We find Yun Seo taking a peek at the creature from the small tunnel at the end of the pit, and after the creature leaves, she sneaks out and examines the bodies the creature bought in to find a phone, but it is not in working condition. Back in the hospital, Gang-do tries to convince the doctors and the police that his daughter is alive, but they think that Gang-do's gone crazy and assign him for a psychiatric evaluation. Realizing that Gang-do might not be lying, the family decides to escape and sneaks out of the hospital, but they get recognized immediately because of Gang-do's blonde hair. They run towards the elevator, then into the parking garage, where a vehicle driven by gangsters arranged by Hee-bong pick them up. Nam-ju gets left out initially, but they circle around to get her and the family successfully escapes the hospital. Once they are clear, the gangsters charge Hee-bong a large amount of money, and they provide family with guns and a government vehicle so that they can blend in and search for the girl. Hee-bong has no choice but to give them all his savings, including his credit cards. They drive towards the checkpoint and hope to pass through easily, but the police captain recognizes them. With no other choice, Hee-bong bribes the officer with the only money that they have left, and that Gang-do saved by stealing from the store's account. They enter the area and begin searching for Yun Seo inside every sewer system that they find on the maps they were given, but they have no clue as to where the girl is. Nam-il complains that they'll never find her this way, but Nam-ju tells him to stop complaining as they have no other options. Suddenly, the family hears something above them and they shoot multiple shots only to realize that it was nothing. However, it turns out that there are two other boys hiding beside the walls, and they escape out of the sewers. The two boys are homeless brothers, and the older brother decides to steal food from the nearest convenience store, which turns out to be the one that Hee-bong owns. The younger boy, Se-ju, wants to take their money as well, but his brother Se-jin stops him and tells him that that is wrong, as they are only taking things they need to survive. They head out with bags of food, but unfortunately comes across the creature charging towards them from under the bridge. The boys start running back towards the store, but the creature chases them closely behind, catching them right before they get to the door. Moments later, Hee-bong opens the door and mentions that he heard something, but the family asks him to come back. The family sits down together, except for Yun Seo, and they have cup ramen while they miss her, and imagine that she was there with them as well. Meanwhile, Yun Seo is at the tunnel going through the other bodies, and pretends to be dead as she hears the creature coming. The creature drops off the boys it captured earlier, and after it leaves, Yun Seo notices that only the younger boy is alive. Suddenly, she closes the boy's eyes hearing the creature return, and stays immobile to not attract the creature's attention. We are back at the store and Hee-bong tells Nam-il and Nam-ju not to be hard on their big brother Gang-do, since he became so pathetic only because of Hee-bong not taking care of him when he was little. The brother and sister get tired as they have heard this countless times, but right then, Hee-bong is stopped by Gang-do, who notices the creature standing outside their store. Hee-bong reaches for the gun and shoots at the creature, but it charges towards them and eventually flips their store over. Hee-bong continues to shoot at it, and noticing that the creature has stopped, the family moves out to get closer and get a clear shot, but Nam-il fires at the creature, which prompts it to run towards the river as the family continues their pursuit. However, they soon run out of bullets as the creature jumps into the river. Hee-bong tells everyone to stay back as Gang-do give his gun to him, mentioning that there is still a bullet left. The creature begins swimming towards them, but Nam-ju tries shooting it with her arrows. Hee-bong tells her to leave and fires the gun, only to realize that it was empty. He turns around and calmly tells the family to run as the creature grabs Hee-bong by the leg and smashes him to the ground as everyone watches hopelessly. The creature jumps back in the water and Gang-do runs towards his father's lifeless body and cries in pain. Nam-il take Nam-ju since the police are heading this way as well. Gang-do tries to leave as well, but is unable to overcome his grief and gets captured by the police officers. At night, we see Nam-il walking to an empty street and looking at a wanted poster for the family. He goes to pick it up, but another man pulls him inside. It is his friend who has a job in the phone company. Nam-il takes his help to track Yun Seo's location from the phone call she made. They sneak into the office building, and his friend enters the details but goes inside in order to check something with the network. Nam-il does not doubt him, and we see his friend hiding and talking with gangsters he has arranged to grab Nam-il for ransom. Nam-il calls for his friend but notices the password in the sticky note. He enters and manages to find her location, but soon he is surprised by the gangsters covering the exits. Nam-il uses his wits to short the power and quickly gets out of the office. Locking his pursuers inside, he escapes the building, but hears the police nearing the spot and in a panic he jumps over the bridge and hurts himself. He quickly messages his findings to Nam-ju and faints. Nam-ju, who was hiding till now, gets out and reaches the store. She charges her phone and immediately notices the message from her brother. Soon, she reaches the location and searches for Yun Seo. She also makes a call to Gang-do to tell him about Yun Seo's location. Suddenly, she sees sees the creature running towards her, and she takes her bow and arrow to shoot, but gets knocked over into the ditches, which luckily prevents the creature from getting to her. At this time, Gangdu is at the hospital getting prepared for the tests. After learning about his daughter's location, Gangdu tries to escape the hospital, but is stopped by the doctors who continues to perform painful experiments on him. The leading researcher visits and questions him about his daughter, but in the end mentions that the virus has affected his brain and they need to proceed for surgery. As they proceed with their preparations, he hears the chief mentioning that there is no virus and the government is simply using it to distract the people from the creature's origins. Gangdu overhears their conversation and asks to be let out, but this prompts the doctors to silence him. On the other side, Yun Seo is trying to comfort the boy by asking him to think about what they'll eat after getting out. She creates a rope out of the clothing of the victims and ties a police baton at the end. She manages to throw it on the platform, but it ends up short and a little high for them to reach and escape. Suddenly, she hears the creature return and tells Se-ju to hide in the tunnel. She takes a peek as she wishes for someone with a working cell phone, but this time the creature begins throwing up the bones of all the humans it devoured. It moves on to swallow Se-jin, and Yun Seo turns inside not to see it, but soon is startled to find the creature notice them, but it is unable to get them inside the tunnel. At the same time, Gangdu manages to take a doctor hostage using his blood sample and rushes outside of the building, only to see that the officers are relaxing and barbecuing like they're on vacation. He threatens to kill the hostage and takes over an ambulance and rushes towards the location of his daughter. Namil wakes up after being saved by a homeless man and manages to convince him to join to go after the creature. They hire a taxi while they use alcohol bottles and make numerous Molotov cocktails. Yun Seo wakes up and notices that Se-ju is getting sick. She peeks outside and sees that the creature is sleeping, so she tries running for the ropes, but is quickly ambushed by the creature, which grabs her using its tail and puts her back on the floor. Se-ju walks outside and the creature wakes up. Yun Seo runs back to save him while the creature jumps at them. Gangdu somehow reaches the creature's nest and sees it filled with bones, and Yun Seo is nowhere in sight. Suddenly, he sees the creature pass by him from the top with an arm dangling from its mouth and proceeds to go after it. Namju wakes up as well and takes her bow and arrow. She sees the approaching and hides as it crosses her. Namil reaches the bridge and asks the homeless man to follow him as he runs ahead. Gangdu runs across the bridge as he chases the creature swimming below him. At this time, people have gathered on the other side of the river and are protesting against the government moving forward with the plan to dump toxic chemicals in order to poison the creature. Soon, they notice the creature coming towards them, and they start running away in fear. One of the police begins shooting at the creature as it climbs on land. Gangdu jumps from the bridge shouting him to stop shooting, and Nam-il and Namju reach there. The scientists release the chemical on the floor, and the police continues to shoot at the creature, causing it to falter. Gangdu rushes to push the police away, making him stop shooting, and watches the creature struggle in pain. He walks towards the creature's mouth and opens it to find a hand poking out. He manages to pull Yun Seo out, who is holding on to Se-ju tidily. Gangdu realizes that Yun Seo has died while still holding on to the boy that she was trying to protect. Gangdu carries Yun Seo to the side where Nam-il and Namju cry as they embrace Yun Seo's lifeless body. The scientists in their suits film the surrounding as the chemical affect the people around, and Gangdu takes down the metal pole and decides to take vengeance for his daughter. He begins attacking the creature with a metal pole, but it takes him down. Namil notices this and throws the Molotov cocktails at the creature, chasing it away, but is not able to land any direct hits. At this time, the homeless man sneaks on top of the creature and begins pouring gasoline on it as it starts consuming it. Namil proceeds to throw the last cocktail to end it, but it slips out of his hand. Right then, Namju prepares her arrow that she lit on fire and shoots at the creature, covering it in flames. In the moment of chaos, the creature tries to run back into the river, but Gangdu, who was hiding behind the posts, comes out and manages to fatally stab the creature. The creature falls down with its last breath and dies while burning. Gangdu turns to notice the boy his daughter was trying to save is still alive and carries him to safety as he stares at the aftermath of the chaos. Sometime later, Gangdu has taken over the store and has adopted Se-ju as his own son, and the two have dinner while the news criticizes the government about their actions.